Respiratory system. The lungs are essential organs in the respiratory system, responsible for the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the body. Let's delve into the anatomy of the lungs. Structure of the lungs. Location: the lungs are paired organs situated within the thoracic, chest, cavity. The right lung is divided into 3 lobes, upper, middle, and lower lobes, while the left lung has 2 lobes, upper and lower lobes. This asymmetry accommodates the space occupied by the heart. Coverings: each lung is enclosed by a double-layered membrane called the pleura. The inner layer, visceral pleura, covers the lung surface, while the outer layer, parietal pleura, lines the chest cavity. Bronchial tree: the trachea, or windpipe, branches into 2 primary bronchi, singular, bronchus, that enter each lung. Within the lungs, the bronchi further divide into smaller bronchioles, forming a branching structure known as the bronchial tree. Alveoli: at the end of the bronchial tree, the bronchioles terminate in tiny air sacs called alveoli. Alveoli are the primary sites for the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide between the lungs and the bloodstream. Blood supply: the pulmonary arteries carry deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs. In the lungs, the blood vessels form a network around the alveoli, allowing for the exchange of gases. Oxygenated blood is then transported back to the heart through the pulmonary veins. Function of the lungs. 1. Ventilation. The process of breathing involves the intake of air, inspiration, and the expulsion of carbon dioxide-laden air, expiration. This movement of air is facilitated by the contraction and relaxation of the diaphragm and intercostal muscles. 2. Gas exchange. Oxygen from inhaled air diffuses through the alveoli into the bloodstream, binding to hemoglobin and red blood cells. Simultaneously, carbon dioxide, a waste product of cellular metabolism, moves from the blood into the alveoli to be exhaled. 3. Surfactant production. The lungs produce a substance called surfactant, which reduces the surface tension within the alveoli, preventing their collapse and facilitating efficient gas exchange. 4. Regulation of pH. The lungs play a role in maintaining the body's acid-base balance by regulating the levels of carbon dioxide, a key factor in the control of blood pH. In summary, the lungs are vital for oxygenating the blood and eliminating carbon dioxide, supporting the body's overall metabolic functions. Their intricate anatomy and physiological processes ensure the efficient exchange of gases critical for sustaining life. Pathological changes. What are the pathological changes that occur in the lungs? How many types? Pathological changes in the lungs can be diverse and are associated with various respiratory conditions. These changes can affect the structure and function of the lungs, leading to respiratory symptoms and impaired gas exchange. Here are some common types of pathological changes in the lungs. 1. Inflammation. Inflammation is a common response to injury or infection. Conditions like pneumonia, bronchitis, and autoimmune diseases can cause inflammation in the lungs. Chronic inflammation may lead to long-term damage in conditions like chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD. 2. Infection. Respiratory infections, such as bacterial or viral pneumonia, bronchitis, and tuberculosis, can cause pathological changes in the lungs. Infections may lead to the accumulation of inflammatory cells, fluid, and cellular debris, affecting lung function. 3. Fibrosis. Fibrosis is the formation of excess fibrous connective tissue in the lungs. It can result from chronic inflammation or exposure to harmful substances like asbestos or silica dust. Pulmonary fibrosis is a condition characterized by a scarring of the lung tissue, leading to stiffness and impaired lung function. 4. Emphysema. Emphysema is a type of COPD characterized by the destruction of the walls of the alveoli. This leads to enlarged air spaces and reduced surface area for gas exchange. Smoking is a common cause of emphysema, and it results in progressive difficulty in breathing. 5. Bronchospasm. Conditions like asthma involve bronchospasm, which is the sudden contraction of the muscles surrounding the bronchial tubes. Bronchospasm leads to airway narrowing, making it difficult for air to flow in and out of the lungs. 6. Tumors and cancer. Lung cancer can manifest as malignant tumors in the lungs, affecting normal tissue and obstructing airways. Tumors can be primary lung cancers or metastatic tumors from other parts of the body. 7. Pleural effusion. Pleural effusion occurs when excess fluid collects in the pleural space, the space between the layers of the pleura. This condition can result from infections, heart failure, or malignancies and can compress the lungs, causing breathing difficulties. 8. Atelectasis. Atelectasis is the collapse or closure of a part of the lung, leading to reduced or absent air exchange. It can be caused by various factors, including obstruction of the airways, compression of the lung tissue, or insufficient surfactant production. 9. Granulomas. Granulomas are small nodules of immune cells that can form in the lungs in response to infections or inflammatory conditions like sarcoidosis. It's important to note that these pathological changes often overlap, and many respiratory diseases may involve a combination of these alterations in lung structure and function. A comprehensive diagnosis and understanding of the underlying cause are crucial for effective management and treatment. Overview of the lung diseases. Lung diseases encompass a broad range of conditions that affect the structure and function of the lungs. They lead to respiratory symptoms and, in some cases, systemic effects. Here is an overview of some common lung diseases. 1. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD. COPD is a progressive lung disease that includes chronic bronchitis and emphysema. It is often associated with long-term exposure to irritants, such as cigarette smoke, air pollution, or occupational dust. Symptoms include chronic cough, shortness of breath, wheezing, and decreased exercise tolerance. 2. Asthma. Asthma is a chronic inflammatory condition characterized by bronchospasm, airway constriction, inflammation, and increased mucus production. Common symptoms include wheezing, coughing, chest tightness, and shortness of breath, which may be triggered by allergens, exercise, or respiratory infections. 3. Pneumonia. Pneumonia is an infection of the lungs, commonly caused by bacteria, viruses, or fungi. It can lead to inflammation and the accumulation of fluid in the alveoli. Symptoms include fever, cough with sputum production, chest pain, and difficulty breathing. 4. Interstitial lung disease, ILD. ILD refers to a group of disorders characterized by inflammation and scarring of the lung tissue, interstitium. Causes include autoimmune diseases, environmental exposures, and idiopathic, unknown, factors. Symptoms may include progressive dyspnea, shortness of breath, cough, and reduced exercise tolerance. 5. Lung cancer. Lung cancer is the uncontrolled growth of abnormal cells in the lungs. It is often associated with smoking, but non-smokers can also develop lung cancer. Symptoms may include persistent cough, chest pain, weight loss, and respiratory symptoms. Early detection is crucial for better outcomes. 6. Pulmonary embolism, PE. PE occurs when a blood clot, usually from the legs, travels to the lungs, blocking blood vessels. This can lead to impaired blood flow and oxygen exchange. Symptoms include sudden onset of shortness of breath, chest pain, and rapid heart rate. 7. Cystic fibrosis. Cystic fibrosis is a genetic disorder that affects the respiratory, digestive, and reproductive systems. It leads to the production of thick, sticky mucus that can clog airways. Symptoms include chronic cough, recurrent lung infections, and difficulty gaining weight. 8. Pulmonary hypertension. Pulmonary hypertension is a condition characterized by high blood pressure in the arteries of the lungs. It can result from various underlying causes, including chronic lung diseases and heart conditions. Symptoms include shortness of breath, fatigue, and chest pain. 9. Tuberculosis, TB. TB is a bacterial infection caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis. It primarily affects the lungs but can spread to other organs. Symptoms include persistent cough, weight loss, fever, and night sweats. 10. Sarcoidosis. Sarcoidosis is an inflammatory disease that can affect multiple organs, including the lungs. It leads to the formation of granulomas, small nodules, in affected tissues. Symptoms vary but may include cough, shortness of breath, and fatigue. This overview provides a glimpse into the diverse array of lung diseases, each with its unique characteristics and implications. Early diagnosis and appropriate management are crucial for improving outcomes and quality of life for individuals with these conditions. 14 treatment options for lung diseases. Treatment may depend on the underlying health condition and age of the individual. Most lung diseases can be managed or cured when detected early. Common treatment options may include 1. Inhalers, 2. Nebulizers, 2. Oral drugs, 4. Intravenous treatments, 5. Corticosteroids, 6. Leukotriene modulators, 7. Long-term beta agonists, 8. Supplemental oxygen, 9. Chemotherapy, 10. Radiotherapy, 11. Pulmonary rehabilitation, 12. Interventional bronchoscopy, 13. Lung transplant, 14. Stem cell therapy, under research. Respiratory illnesses have a massive global health impact. The following facts are concerning. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, affects 65 million people globally and kills 3 million per year, making it the third greatest cause of death. Every year, 10 million people contract tuberculosis, and 1.6 million people die from it, making it the most prevalent deadly infectious illness. Lung cancer is the most lethal cancer, killing 1.76 million individuals each year. Asthma affects 334 million individuals, making it the most prevalent chronic condition in children. It affects 14% of children worldwide and is on the rise. Pneumonia kills millions of people each year, making it the top cause of mortality in children and the elderly. 91% of the world's population lives in areas where air quality is not according to the World Health Organization's guidelines, which can lead to chronic lung diseases.